Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this session, I am going to explain about construction of predictive parsing, and it is related to the subject System Software and Compilers, and the subject code is 18CS61. Before starting the predictive parsing, we have to know first and follow. What is first? If there is a variable and from that variable if we try to drive all the strings, then the beginning terminal symbol is called the first. And follow is what is the terminal symbol which follows a variable in the process of derivation is known as follow. There are some rules for first. The first rule is if x is terminal, then first of x is x. The second rule is if x tends to epsilon is a production, then add epsilon to first of x. If x is non-terminal and x tends to alpha alpha is a production, then add a to first of x. If x is non-terminal and x tends to y1, y2 and so on yk is a production, then place alpha in first of x if for some I, alpha is in first of yi and epsilon is in all of first of y1 and so on to first of yi minus 1, that is y1 and so on yi minus 1 tends to epsilon. If epsilon is in first of yj for all j is equals to 1, 2 and so on up to k, then add epsilon to first of y. Then coming to the rules for follow, if S is a start symbol, then follow of S is dollar. The second rule is if there is a production A tends to alpha B beta, then everything in first of beta except epsilon is placed in follow of B. The third rule is if there is a production A tends to alpha B or a production A tends to alpha B beta where first of beta contains epsilon, then everything in follow of A is in follow of B. Then we are coming to the algorithm for construction of predictive parsing table. We are giving the input as grammar G and the output we are obtaining is parsing table M. There are four methods to follow this algorithm. The first method is for each production A tends to alpha of grammar, do steps 2 and 3. That is, the second step and third step we should follow in a loop. The second step is for each terminal A in first of alpha, add A tends to alpha to M of A comma alpha, where M is a parsing table which is output. And we are coming to the third step. If epsilon is in first of alpha, then add A tends to alpha to M of A comma B for each terminal B in follow of A. And the fourth step is if epsilon is in first of alpha and dollar is in follow of A, add A tends to alpha to M of A comma dollar. Make each undefined entry of M be error. Then let us consider a problem for this predictive parsing. The first step is E tends to TE dash, then E dash tends to plus TE dash and epsilon, T tends to FT dash, T dash tends to into FT dash and epsilon, and F tends to E within a bracket and ID. Find first and follow and construct the predictive parsing table for the above question. Now we are going to compute the first for the program. First let us consider E tends to TE dash. We are applying the rule 4b of first. Since first of T does not contain epsilon or T does not derive epsilon, therefore first of E is equals to first of TE dash, that is equals to first of T. Therefore, whatever the E is here, we are considering the same. Therefore, first of E is equals to first of T. This is the equation 1. Then we are considering the second step, that is E dash tends to plus TE dash. and epsilon. For this, applying rule 3 of first, comparing E plus TE dash with x tends to alpha alpha. Therefore, first of E dash will be equal to plus, and applying the rule 2 on E dash tends to epsilon, then we will get first of E dash is equals to E. Therefore, first of E dash will be plus and epsilon, which is the answer for first of E dash. Then we are coming to the third step, that is t tends to ft dash. For this, we will apply the rule 4b of first. Since first of f does not derive epsilon, therefore first of t will be equal to first of ft dash, which is equals to first of f. Therefore the first of t is equals to first of f, which is equation 3. Then we are coming to the fourth step, t dash tends to into ft dash plus epsilon. We are comparing with the rule 2 and 3 of first, then we will get first of t dash is equals to epsilon comma star, that is into. This is the equation 4. Then we are coming to f tends to e within brackets plus id. For this we are comparing with rule 5 of first. Therefore first of f will be equals to open bracket and id. This is equation 5. Then by combining all the statements, we will get first of E is equals to first of T, that is equals to first of F, which is open bracket comma ID, and then first of E dash is equals to plus comma epsilon, and first of T dash is equals to epsilon comma star. The same thing is written here, that is first of sets. Now we are coming for the computation of follow. For this, applying rule 1 of follow, that is follow of E is equals to dollar, that is E tends to TE dash. We will apply the rule 2 of follow, then we will get E tends to epsilon TE dash, where A tends to alpha, B and beta. Therefore A is equals to E, comma alpha is equals to epsilon, B is equals to T and beta is equals to E dash. Since first of beta is equals to first of E dash contain epsilon, then the rule of 2b of follow will come into exist. Then follow of T is equals to follow of E dash minus epsilon union follow of E. Therefore follow of T is equals to plus comma epsilon minus epsilon union follow of E, where the first of E dash is plus comma epsilon. Then it is followed by follow of T is equals to plus union follow of E, where plus comma epsilon minus epsilon will become plus. This is the second equation. Then coming to the next third step, we will get applying rule 3 of follow, E tends to TE dash, and then A tends to alpha beta, where A is equals to E and alpha is equals to T and B is equals to E dash. Therefore follow of E dash is equals to follow of E. This is the third equation. Then the fourth step is E tends to plus TE dash. We will apply the rule 2 of follow. Then E will become E tends to TE dash, where A tends to B beta. Then A is equals to E, alpha is equals to plus, B is equals to T and beta is equals to E dash. Since first of beta is equals to first of E dash contains epsilon, therefore rule of 2b of follow will come into existence. Then follow of T is equals to first of E dash comma epsilon union follow of E dash. Then follow of T is equals to plus comma epsilon minus epsilon union follow of E dash, where follow of E dash is plus comma epsilon. Then at the final, follow of T is equals to plus union follow of E dash, which is the fourth equation. Then coming to the next equation, applying rule 3 of follow, we will get E tends to plus TE dash. It is followed by A tends to A alpha B. Here the follow of E dash is equals to follow of E dash. This is the fifth equation. Coming to the next step, T tends to F T dash. We will apply the rule 2 of follow. Then we will get T tends to epsilon F T dash. And then A tends to alpha B beta. Since first of B derives epsilon, therefore rule of 2B of follow comes into existence. Then follow of F is equals to first of T dash minus epsilon union follow of T, where follow of F is equals to star comma epsilon minus epsilon union follow of T, where first of T dash is star comma epsilon. Then the final step is follow of F is equals to star union follow of T. This is the sixth equation. Then coming to the next step, applying rule 3 of follow, we will get T tends to F T dash and A tends to alpha B. Therefore, follow of T is equals to follow of T, which is the seventh step. Then coming to T tends to F T dash plus epsilon, applying the second rule of follow, we will get T tends to star F T dash and A tends to alpha B beta. The first of beta is equals to first of T dash contains epsilon or T dash derives epsilon. Rule of 2B of follow. Therefore, follow of F is equals to follow of T dash minus epsilon union follow of T dash. It is followed by follow of F is equals to star comma epsilon minus epsilon union follow of T dash. Then the final step is follow of F is equals to star union follow of T dash, which is the eighth equation. Then applying the rule of 3 of follow, T tends to star F T dash, A tends to alpha B. Therefore, follow of T dash is equals to follow of T dash. This is ninth equation. Then the next step is F tends to E. This is the last step of the grammar. It will be applying the rule 2 of follow. Then we will get F tends to E within the bracket. Then A tends to alpha B beta. First of beta or first is equals to closing the bracket within the braces do not contain epsilon. The rule 2A of follow of E is equals to first of closing the bracket. Then the follow of E is equals to close bracket of closing the common bracket. This is the equation 10. Then combining all the production from equation 1 to 10, we will get follow of E is equals to dollar, which is the first step, and follow of T is equals to plus union follow of E dash is equals to follow of E, follow of T is equals to plus union follow of E dash, and follow of E dash is equals to follow of E dash, follow of F is equals to star union follow of T, follow of T dash is equals to follow of T, and follow of F is equals to star union follow of T dash, follow of T dash is equals to follow of T dash, and follow of E is equals to closing common bracket. So from this overall, the follow sets will be follow of E is equals to dollar comma close brace, follow of E dash is equals to dollar comma close brace, follow of T is equals to plus comma dollar comma close brace, follow of T dash is equals to plus comma dollar comma close brace, and follow of F is equals to star comma plus comma close brace comma dollar. So now to construct the parsing table, we have two functions. That is, in the table, rows will contain the non-terminals. The rows means the horizontal lines, and the columns will contain the terminal symbols. All the null productions of the grammar will go under the follow elements, and the remaining productions will lie under the elements of the first set. So after calculating the first and follow, we'll get the table like this, that is E tends to T dash will get the follow and first and follow values like this. Then with the help of this table, we are going to write the LL1 passing table, that is ID plus star open brace close brace and dollar in the row, and E dash T dash and F in the column column place. For E tends to TE dash, we are considering ID and open brace. So first we will write E tends to TE dash at ID and at the open braces. And for E dash tends to plus TE dash and epsilon, we will consider both the first and the follow, because as you can see that all the null productions are put under the follow in that symbol, and all the remaining productions are lie under the first of that symbol. That is, whenever there is a epsilon in the given grammar, then we have to write the follow, we have to consider the follow also, and we have to write epsilon at that places. For example, let us consider this. We are having plus and epsilon in the first, so we are writing E dash tends to plus TE dash at the plus side, and for dollar and close braces we will write E dash tends to epsilon and E dash tends to epsilon here. And coming to the next step, T tends to FT dash, because there is no epsilon or a null production here, so we will consider the uh, this one ID comma open brace, that is T tends to FT dash is placed under ID and also the open brace. Then coming to the T dash tends to star FT dash comma epsilon, because here is the null production, we will be considering both first and follow, so we will take T dash tends to epsilon at the plus, because there is a plus here, and at the dollar and also the at the closed brace we will use epsilon, that is T dash tends to epsilon and T dash tends to epsilon here. Then for at the star we will write T dash tends to star FT dash. For F tends to ID comma E, we will consider only this one, that is ID comma open brace. Here we will write F tends to ID and F tends to open brace E. So this is all about the predictive parsing. Thank you.